Get ready, cause it's about time for you to speak your mind. Super secret.
It's always weird hearing them
Girls
clicking
Club.
and I was like, I'm not gonna do anything.
Girls Club. Super secret Girls Club.
Hello. Hi. Welcome to Wednesday.
It's Super Secret Girls Club Day.
It's been so long. I'm so excited. It hasn't been. We actually did last week podcast.
We did it last week, but it was a guest. Every time we have a guest, it's a little different.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun. If you guys didn't catch our podcast with Jamie Lamping, the owner of the 8th Day Distillery, local distillery here in Indy, you definitely should. It's
fun
available in audio form or video form.
Yes. It was a great conversation. I know it was
great.
like locally based, but I think in general it was a good conversation that I enjoyed her.
Yes.
Oh, today is the burlesque show?
Yes.
Oh, I almost forgot about it. Oh my god.
You have the tickets?
Yes, I have the
Oh,
tickets.
perfect.
Okay, we have a show today to go
Yes.
to. She told us,
We
yeah.
are seeing her again today. Later this evening, they are having a burlesque show at the distillery.
Yeah.
Any local people want to see us, we'll be there.
Yes. And I'm being horrible. I have seriously been noticing that I've been horrible putting things to my schedule. I used to be very diligent, that everything was on my calendar. And now, A, I forget it, and B, I stopped looking at it.
Yeah.
And so I've been very last minute remembering things. And I was like, at least I haven't missed anything yet, but it's getting annoying to me that I'm not remembering them.
My job as a scheduler ruined my my personal life. Because every time I have to add something on the calendar, I'm like, I'm working.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this right now.
Makes
And then I
sense.
don't do it. And then I forget about it, you know?
Yeah.
And I just like need to get out of that mindset of like, hey, you
do
want to
it.
do something in your free time, you should put it on the calendar. It takes 2 seconds. You can do it.
Yeah, seriously. I know. And then like, yeah, it's been bad. I think I went very extreme with my previous job where I was very diligent, and I liked at one point like having things like, oh yeah, I'm doing things on weekends, right? Like I'm doing these things instead of like just considering your work. And I was like, I don't want to do shit. Like even if it's like a fun activity, I don't want to see it on my calendar.
Right.
But I don't know if you
Right.
guys feel the same way too. I think I mean it's not hurting anybody but me. So I just
Anybody
need to
else
back.
with calendar fatigue, let us know.
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome. We have first time chat. AP the Dawn. I always look forward to seeing you guys. Aw, thank you so much for chatting. I love it.
So, speaking of calendars and weekends, what did you do? Actually, do you have plans for this weekend? Since we are going to have free time.
Oh yeah. I don't. I am very looking forward to having Monday off. Yes. I know we have Monday off. Oh yeah.
Now I need to start planning. Oh my god.
Yes, not only we have Monday off, we are also made a Sana Social. If you guys know, we've been working on a weekends seasonal business, so we kind of shut it down. So we have so much time on a weekend.
I don't know what to do.
I know. I think I'm gonna go at least see my parents. I didn't see them last weekend because I was really annoyed. On nothing, just I was having a back pain, so I was annoyed at everybody. So I was like, I don't want to go see you guys, and so I'm gonna probably do that. I'm actually go on hiking, proper hiking, and
You should go to Turkey Run.
Turkey Run. Actually, since we have some time off, I might
to
do
Turkey
that.
Run.
Yeah, so now like I don't have to come back, so that might be good.
So
Yeah,
cute.
Nico hasn't done Turkey Run. I haven't done Turkey Run, so that'll be fun, exciting way. Yeah, what about you? Now that you know that we have extra day off.
Well, I spend. Well, oh no, sorry. This upcoming weekend, I honestly just found out in the middle of this conversation that we have a 3-day weekend. So I'm going to have to do something about that and make some plans. I would love to go on a hike as well.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm gonna do like a little picnic date with Chris.
Oh, remember we were planning on doing charcuterie picnic?
Yeah.
You could still do that on Sunday unless you just want to do two of you guys.
No, that's fine.
But,
That's fine. We
yeah.
can. I can do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always like have to.
We'll figure something out. Also, pools are open now.
Yes.
So I might crash my former apartment's pool wearing thongs because those are banned. And
We were talking about
also,
it.
Chris, so some of our friends still live at our former apartment building, and they just got an email about like acceptable swimwear
Okay.
at the pool. And apparently Speedos and thongs are just banned.
So my question: Who complained?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't think anybody
adults.
did. And so the apartment building is like majority of the residents are young adult professionals.
Yeah.
There is like maybe one like a 2-year-old, and I'm assuming that they already moved out as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. It's like adults, like there's like maybe one or two like people in their like 50s or past 50,
But
and all the other people are like young professionals, like 20 to 30 to 40 years old. And like I feel like a lot of them are very open-minded.
Yeah.
And so I just don't understand where that came from.
It's
but anyway,
weird.
Chris has a Speedo and I have thongs. So.
Yeah. You guys have to like go
And
protest
we don't
it.
have the key anymore, so we're gonna
Get in there.
we're just gonna get in there.
I love it. I love it. Pat, we were talking about it earlier before we started the podcast, and Pat was like, "Oh, he will like also join you guys with his thongs." So
Nice.
apparently he has one.
Oh, Pat.
So we'll see if
I'm
Pat
not ready
can.
for that.
I know that's a whole different thing that we are not ready.
He's gonna look naked. He's got so much body hair.
That's
it's
true.
just gonna cover the thong.
And he has to have a very bright one, so like they can see it. But it's just weird because like it's adults and like regular swimsuit. If like whenever we wear them, like they end up turning into tongs anyway. So like, what are you guys protecting? Like nowadays, swimsuits are just so skimpy.
That would be so
Like-
funny if you just like came in with like regular like bottoms and then just like put it in your butt.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm gonna make it a thong, like just to protest it. Like it just,
I'm dying.
I just don't understand. Chris was saying,
And just like have a message on your cheeks, like
Yeah.
all the time, like this is censorship.
censorship. We live in America, but first, right? Like first, yeah. I don't get it. Like a weird laws like
Free
those,
the
like
cheeks.
free the cheeks. It would be funny if it would be different if it was a school. Like it's an adult apartment where they're
No.
paid to be there.
And
like, I don't
honestly,
understand.
it's also like the floor plan, like the pool is surrounded with the apartment building itself, which is 4 floors. No outsiders can even like see
it.
Like there's no way you are offending anyone with your cheeks.
No. That's why I like that pool because like you get so much sunlight because
Yeah.
I know Surge and their pool are open too, but like it gets shady. So
It gets shady.
I'm gonna
But
probably
their pool is heated.
that
Ours
would make
isn't.
sense. That would make sense.
Yeah.
But pool season, so that would be fun. I think that would be good. Are you guys doing the Memorial Weekend race? You know, we in Indy
Is
have
it-
Indy 500
Oh.
on Monday or Sunday, one of the
Completely
days.
Forgot.
So that's what we
No.
think.
It's honestly not my favorite thing about Indy.
People get so excited.
Because, yeah, but it's just, to me, I guess that makes me sound so old. But, like the city gets congested.
Yes.
Traffic is insane.
Very badly.
And then also, like, so much puke on the sidewalks and trash and just, like, beer cans everywhere.
It turns to
'Cause
Bourbon Street.
It really does. And I'm not a fan. I just, like, they just leave the trash around until, like,
Tuesday.
after like
yeah.
the next day, like the cleaning crew comes and cleans up, but they don't really like maintain the grounds well during the event, so it like always turns into like you're partying in the middle of garbage piles.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It is true that we do get a lot of tourism at that point. I think it becomes one of those things, right? Like when we go visit some cities, I'm pretty sure I'm always wondering like, what do locals think about it? Locals hate tourists. So we end up becoming locals like, I hate these tourists here.
Get off my lawn.
I know. And then they're like, I just think they're bringing money. It was like, this is a weekend. I'm not going to be here. But at least we have our pocket. So like we can just go away from there.
And it's nice. I'm glad for Indy that
Yeah.
that there's something like this that will get people to come for something unique.
Yeah, and I was excited when they do like free stuff. I have to like figure out what free stuff they're doing if they're doing concerts and stuff. So
I remember the first time I went and I ordered small fry,
and
and I got like a jumbo bucket of fries,
I love it.
and I was like, this is not my order. And they're like, no, it's small fry, and I was like, this is small. What?
So what is large? Like just drown me in fries.
A barrel of fries.
Exactly. It's just like I'm here, just pour it on me. Fine. Let it listen. Just go for it. Like just have a pipe of fries. I'm excited for it. But
Anyway,
yeah, that's our fun weekends.
those are our more or less plans for the weekend.
Yes.
That pure brings billions in revenue. That is true. So today's topic has nothing to do with what we just talked about.
At all.
At all. But I did want to talk about copyright.
Yay.
Because
Fun things.
are we on Twitch now? We are.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we're on Twitch now, but if you are subscribed, you may have noticed that our channel was not available for a few days.
Yep.
It was unavailable last week after I streamed Eurovision finale.
Eurovision.
Yeah. Of all things.
all
that's
things.
what got us
Was not expecting.
that's what got us
Banned, I guess.
we got a strike first
Yeah.
time, and our channel was unavailable for 2 days. And then as soon as it became available for a few days, as soon as Pat streamed a Lakers game, was it like NBA?
Some NBA.
We got suspended again. So another few days where the channel was not available, and now we're back.
Yes.
But we really need to, now that we have 2 strikes that we caught in like back to back within like I think a week. We need to be very careful about what we do on the channel on Twitch. So we're gonna talk about that, and we're also gonna talk about what happened to us throughout our journey on YouTube, and we're gonna tell you about how YouTube strikes work and how you can prevent them, and also some helpful tips and advice on if you're a creator, what you should be doing.
Yeah. So, Serenity Q just to address, yes, so like Kenny said, we have to be very careful what we do on Twitch now. So we are not going to do like watch-alongs that we were doing, like Eurovision, NBA, any of the shows. However, we still wanted to do the Angel stream, which is why we did Angel stream on YouTube channel, our separate channel, Normie Shorties. So that's still the only thing that we do is separate, just because the way we had set it up, we still wanted to continue providing that link and streaming while the uncuts are still behind the paywall. But that's the only thing. We won't be doing any other watch-alongs, at least not for now.
Yeah.
One Piece still read-along is still a thing. So maybe we'll be readers now instead of watchers. The watch-alongs, we'll do read-alongs.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to be careful. I don't know when we're gonna come back to it, maybe in the future, but just wanted to be careful.
Yeah. Our understanding is that these strikes are putting us more under a microscope. So we want to prove ourselves and prove that our channel is not, breaking any community guidelines. And so we're going to keep it extremely clean.
Yeah.
Even though we don't believe we were breaking any guidelines before, but that's a whole separate topic that we're not going to get into.
Yes.
Or maybe a little bit later. But yeah. So yeah, strikes on Twitch are a thing that affect us right now. But there were multiple times where we were literally dreading our very existence.
Yes.
Because strikes on YouTube.
are much more scarier than on Twitch.
Yeah.
For now.
Do you recall how the strike policy works on YouTube?
Yes, because like you get 3 and you out, essentially.
Yes,
you get 3
basically,
strikes. My understanding is you get 3 strikes. Now, strikes and claims are totally different. We can get claims, but if you get strike, 3 of them, it suspends our channel completely and it cannot be recovered.
Yes.
Correct? And that's
yes. Most times not.
most times. So like so there is much difference. So my understanding on Twitch is like if we get 3 strikes, eventually we might be able to recover the channel, but on YouTube you get 3 strikes, you're done for. And you may have heard other channels going through this issue because it is, you have so much content on there, and if you don't have a backup, if you don't have it saved, it's essentially gone. It's not like you can come back. And I remember we kind of came close. One time I was not full-time when it came close, so I wasn't around with the whole freak out attack. But second time I was, and I think it was much less because we had freaked out as much before.
Yeah. Well, I think this happened to us at least twice, but I feel like there was maybe
Few other
one
times.
more or 2 more times where we were like on the brink.
Yeah, because every time we get 2 strikes, we are on our edges. Because like it's not like 3 and then you out with the fourth, so like you out, like you got one more and you're done.
Yeah. So we mentioned some like terminology, like claim and strike. So I'm just going to briefly explain what it means. If your video receives a claim, it means that either a bot or a real person or company have discovered that you've been using their copyright, whether that's audio, video, picture, anything like that, and they claim that video. If that claim may make the video blocked in certain regions, or it can make it ineligible for monetization, which definitely is something that can hurt channels financially. And so receiving a claim is not like an existential threat to your channel, but it can be an existential threat to your money.
Your mental health.
And your mental health, yeah. So it's definitely not great, but it's not as bad as strikes.
Yeah.
So strike is something you receive if you violate the community guidelines or rules and terms of service of YouTube. If you have, this is what the guidelines say. I pulled this from their, terms of service, but
from YouTube.
Our experience with it is very loose.
Yeah.
So I feel like these are kind of like loose guidelines, and they kind of play it by ear, which is weird.
You know how YouTube is.
Allegedly, when you violate terms of service the first time, you will get a warning. I guess that's like a written warning.
Yeah.
I don't recall us ever getting anything like that. Any communication from YouTube, it tends to be very difficult.
Yeah.
But that is allegedly what happens first time.
Maybe we get an email that gets buried in 100 things.
Maybe it's possible. It's possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you violate the community guidelines the second time, you will get a strike. One strike. Strike expires within 90 days. And what also happens is within the first week of you receiving that strike, you won't be able to use the features of YouTube Studio, like certain features that make YouTube convenient for a creator, like scheduling your posts or looking at analytics or monetization. So there are certain tools that you won't be able to use for a whole week of your strike. And then for 90 days after that, just like with Twitch, you're kind of like under surveillance. And you have to be very careful because you can get another one.
Yeah.
So if you violate terms of service again, you will get 2 strikes. And that second strike will also have like new period of 90 days. So they won't both expire within like the first strikes period. This one has its own 90-day period. And you won't be able to do anything for 2 whole weeks. I don't know if you guys remember, if you were around, but at some point we were posting all of our content on Patreon. And like the stuff that were supposed to be free, we just posted them without paywall.
Yeah.
But we were kind of using our Patreon as a backup at that time, because for 2 weeks we were not able to post anything on our channel. And that's rough. And outside of like the other things that I mentioned, like monetization or like some of the features, this also will make it really bad for you in the algorithm. So
I mean, because you can't post anything,
Yes.
so it just seems like for 2 weeks you've been MIA.
Yeah.
And all the momentum that you built up is like it's gone because you weren't there, which YouTube forces you not to be there, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's that, but it's also like any content creators that break community guidelines frequently don't get pushed into discovery.
That's true.
So that's kind of like this. There are like these hidden penalties that don't get like that, like, these terms of service don't acknowledge, but this does happen.
But it doesn't happen to people who have a large following. So, like, if you have a large following, you have a copyright strike, it may freeze your functions, but it's still, like, the analytics don't look that... There is some discretion on these. So, like Kelly said, it is very loose.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I want to explain how loose it is now, because because the first time we got 2 strikes was one video got a strike and then another video got a strike. Literally, I think overnight.
Yeah.
We got both of them overnight, and it was awful.
Yeah.
Like, we literally thought the channel was gonna be erased from existence in like a second.
And I wasn't
'Cause
around
we literally
for
got
this one.
we got those strikes back to back overnight, and it was just awful. And I feel like at this point there was at least, I think Suraj was like actually like depending on this channel financially, so it was rough. And now, when recently, I guess you guys were around, we were dealing with another situation where we had 2 strikes, but they were for multiple different videos.
Okay.
So kind of, we received like a bulk strike for multiple videos that were
but it
violating
put
some
into
kind
one.
of a policy into one.
We were
Which
glad for that.
we were extremely happy, but again, we're not sure why. We're not sure why this happens and how they determine, like, this amount of videos gets a strike,
Yeah. Maybe they were like, this is too many videos. And if you strike them, we will suspend them. So, like, let's put them in one.
Yeah.
So there are some decisions being made in the background. I do think, in general, YouTube doesn't want to suspend your account, but they do want to warn you as much as possible and giving you stress, like, this is a possibility. And then you can, like, change your course. But you just kind of have to be on your toes that this may happen, and it does happen.
Yeah.
But
So, Navi, do you believe that we are actually breaking any community guidelines or violating copyright with our content?
I don't believe so. But then again, I do believe that it can be from different perspective. And I think a lot of times when we do get copyright strike or claim, it's essentially studios just saying, like, we can't use their content because we are essentially a market substitute. And our argument to that, like, we are not. I hope nobody's, like, coming and watching our reaction and that's the first time them watching a reaction.
First time watching the original.
First time watching original. I don't believe that's the case. If I would love to meet somebody who just watches us and that's how they consume that media. Let's say, like, Last of Us. Like, they don't watch actual Last of Us. They just watch our reaction to get the episode.
Yeah.
You're not really watching the show. You're just watching a reaction. And it's kind of hard to explain that to the studio sometimes. And I wish I could, like, actually sit down and talk to them, because it is... The studios can use us as a marketing tool, right? Like, we're not a market substitute. People are not watching us just watching the show, but they may come upon us and they come to find out about a show that they never heard of it, and they might end up watching it. So we could be a marketing tool that the studios could use, but I don't believe...
Not only might they watch that TV show, they might fall in love with it, and maybe they will buy merch from their original store.
Yeah, or they will buy that subscription if they didn't have HBO, and then, like, oh, now I have this to watch Last of Us. Guess what? There's other shows on here that we could watch it. So it is... I think the discussion needs to have a very differently on reaction. But to answer your question, I don't believe we are violating a copyright right. A lot of people, we try to keep 10 minutes of footage, if not less. If it's a 30-minute show, we try to only keep just the hype parts. So a lot of new people who come to our channel like, why is the footage fading away? Well, it's fading away because we are not a market substitute. Like, you shouldn't be watching uncut. We do have uncut on our Patreon that doesn't show the footage either. But, like, with the edited version, like, we only show scenes, so you kind of know the reference point, and then we go away. So we try to keep it at 10 minutes. I hope that 10 minutes is not enough to know what the whole episode is about. But if you are the one, then I would love to talk to you.
Yes. We have a question from Mercer4770. Why don't SGC make it to other audio-only podcast apps? We actually are in different audio versions. I think you can find us on Spotify, Apple Music.
Anywhere you consume podcasts, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts,
as well, Google Play.
So anywhere you consume podcasts, we are there. Just look up Super Sticker Girls Club and we'll come up.
I think look up the Normies, and then you'll be able to see Talking Normies and SSGC, both of them. So
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um.
But
So yes, back to the
copyright.
yes, copyright. I agree with you. I think that, as a company, we're all in agreement that we're not doing anything illegal by creating reaction videos. And I really recently had to dig deep into the legalities of fair use.
Oh, yeah, you were in a rabbit hole.
I had to go into the rabbit hole because we've experienced some, I'm gonna say, predatory behavior from the point of, I don't know, self-proclaimed. I don't know what to call this person / company.
Yeah.
But it made us really consider are we seriously doing a good thing? Are we breaking any laws? Are we breaking copyright? We don't want to be doing anything illegal.
We had serious discussions around this topic for a really long time.
And so there are multiple ways to determine legally what fair use is and determine whether the content you create is fair use or not. Ultimately, if we ever went to court, it would be up to the courts to decide whether we are correct in our interpretation or not. But our interpretation is as follows. So the one thing that the courts would look at is the video transformative to the point it cannot be used as a substitute to the original work. And that's one of the things that we, as normies, it was part of our branding from day one. We are not a market substitute.
Yeah.
That's the whole spiel that we do in every video. And we are very, very adamant about this. Our videos do not serve as a replacement for the original. If anything, it encourages the viewer to seek the original content and actually experience it and then come watch with us.
Yes.
So that is the idea that we are operating under. There are some other issues that you can get into that go along with are you actually making money off of it? Are you monetizing this? Because then it gets muddier because you may be using other people's work to
create your own
to monetize. But it not all nonprofit is completely fair use and not all commercial is completely not fair use. So
that's true.
There are nuances, and we believe that we fall under the nuance of we're not doing anything wrong. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing. When a lot of times the new people come to us and then they're like, "Why are you talking so much?" We kind of do have to. I mean, it's a reaction, right? So we do have to react, and most of the reaction is more than just nonverbal. But at the same time, we just have to make sure that there is enough of our dialogue happening that it is transforming that whole video. We are not showing the whole footage and just quietly sitting there letting you guys watch it, and B, it's only some of it with our dialogue mixed in. And sometimes when if there's an Demon Slayer, I think, is the worst one that has a lot of audio in the background. So if there's a song, we have to immediately turn it down. It's let's not make it copyrighted because that thing to pick up on boss. I think we usually can't talk over when there's audio. We try not to because we try to listen to it. So it's okay.
Yeah. And that goes to the second question that courts would consider, and that is how much of the copyrighted work is used. And as Navi mentioned, we do use under 10 minutes of original footage in most of our videos, unless it's a reaction to a longer piece of content, like a movie. Then we would allow our editors to use more than 10 minutes of the original footage. But one of our internal rules is that we don't use clips continuously running clip of someone else's thing for more than 20 seconds. Yeah. We always make a cut at last within 20-second mark. So there you won't be able to find a 5-minute uncut scene from a movie in our reactions. Yeah.
Which is why it fades away and it comes back.
Yes.
It fades away and it comes back. We have to be careful with that.
Yes. So if you ever consider creating reaction videos, that might be one of the guidelines you might want to adapt. Make sure that you use appropriate amount of footage to use as a reference. Make sure it's transformative, add your commentary, and edit.
As much as possible.
Yes. Another qualification on whether like you are violating copyright or not is
Qualification. I guess that's a word.
I guess so. I don't know what I was saying. The purpose of use. Why is copyrighted material used in the video? Like, is there a reason, or are you just like talking about global warming and have Tanjiro on the bottom just fighting demons?
Sense. Yeah.
So yeah, it has to be something that makes sense, and there has to be a purpose and reason why you're using the work that you didn't create. So for us, it's the reference. It's so that you know what exactly is happening that we are reacting to, but it's not the whole thing. It's just very select pieces of the episode for the reaction.
So wait, talk to me about it again. So essentially, we have to the way we transform a video or whatever the footage we are showing, it has to be used as a reference material. Is what you're saying?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because like what my mind went to like TikTok videos. You know, have you seen those where like one side they're showing a completely different thing, on the other side they're making a cake? It's like, what is happening here?
Oh yeah, those are. I don't understand how. I've seen those before, and I don't understand, and I truly feel like this might be problematic, might be like a copyright infringement.
Because but it's on TikTok, so
what you're doing is like you're trying to get attention for this, like, I don't know, like anime scene.
Yeah.
But like on the bottom you're making a cake.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with like German cake. Nothing to do with anything.
I've seen so many of them, and it's like I guess TikTok is a whole different sphere, right? Like, so this is mostly on YouTube, and TikTok also like use a lot more than normal copyright material, and I guess you can get away on TikTok with that.
Well, I also believe I think that like when it comes to like copyrighted material on TikTok, especially audio, I feel like the artists, singers, bands are okay with that use because that's what promotes their song. It helps them go up in the charts,
and that's exactly how it should be. Like, they are using this as a marketing thing, so like studios look at us like as a reaction that can be used as marketing material, increasing awareness of your content. But that makes sense.
And the last qualifier for this is, what is the effect on the market value of the copyrighted work? So are we as normies damaging AMC by creating reactions about Walking Dead? AMC doesn't think so, because they even sent us gifts for our reactions. Yeah, they wanted to work with us. There are multiple other studios that have worked with us in the past or sent us like words of support or gifts of thanks, and that is why we believe that, you know, instead of being market substitutes for the work, we are helping promote said work, and we are pushing people that way that maybe watch us and like our taste and then they jump on the recommendation based on the shows that we watch. So
AMC on Walking Dead is a whole different thing, but
yes. I mean, that's just the one example.
No, for sure.
We really wish we could create relations with all different studios and creators, writers, etc. It would be great, especially if we could reach out to anime studios in Japan, because like we're talking about fair use. This is something that applies in the United States. These are federal regulations for the United States. These are not worldwide rules. But I do think that these are pretty good, even though very vague. The vague part is the one thing that I have issues with, but I feel like these are very good like baselines that
can be used everywhere
could be adapted.
Makes sense. No, it makes sense. So like Mercer 4770 started watching Wire because of y'all, still on season 1, or watching reactions side by side.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you
I've
go.
seen a lot of shows because of like what normies watch sometimes. It's like, oh yeah, okay, so you guys think like it's good, so I'll watch it.
You got to know that we named our cat Bodhi.
Yes.
After Bodhi, yeah.
Cute.
Yeah,
That's
well,
awesome.
since you're still on season 1, let me know how you feel about Bodhi later.
I love it.
Yeah, so there was some advice sprinkled throughout this podcast already about, if you are already content creators or if you're thinking about creating content, especially something that can be, potentially damaging to your brand or to your channel, like reactions, just because of the thin line you have to walk to, show enough referential footage so that people understand what you're reacting to without abusing copyright.
Yeah.
There was some advice already, but we have more.
Yes.
So one thing I would tell anybody starting a channel or already having a channel is make sure that you have a community around you. So not only your viewers, but also your peers that create whatever content you create. Yes, they are competition, but they are also somebody going through the same issues in life as you. You can relate to each other. Like when we met Blind Wave or RTTV for the first time, we were able to talk about so many things that, like, if we talk to our parents, they just wouldn't understand,
Yeah.
So-
My parents still don't understand
Yeah.
what I do.
Yeah.
And I think that's been forever. That's been since I was a kid. They don't understand. It's like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But
And I feel that also helped us the last time when we were approached by that one predatory entity.
yeah.
We were like didn't know that there was anything suspicious about this until we realized that our other friends, creators that are experiencing the same thing, that receive the same like kind
Warnings.
of DMCA notice. Oh, that's another word.
Yeah.
DMCA is the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, and if you create something and you see that someone else has leaked it or used it for their own thing, you can submit DMCA claim to have that content removed from their channel because they're using it without your permission. Unless it's altered in any way, they cannot do that. So
That kind of helps you also kind of tells you like, okay, what you're doing is fine when they don't remove it. It's like, okay, yeah, this has been transformed enough that it's my product.
yes, exactly. So we received a DMCA claim that was very long.
Very long.
It included over 2,000 posts that we've posted on Patreon.
Yeah.
That was like 1/3 of our catalog that was removed because of this one DMCA notice. And because we had connections with our peers, we were able to find out that we were not the only
Creator.
victims of this DMCA strike,
Yeah.
for lack of better words. And we were able to like figure out that this is vastly suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're able to actually dig deeper into it, and we
Well,
were.
when we say we, Ketty dug deep into this, and she was the powerful being who came
Who
out
is this
of
damn
it.
entity?
I love it.
The copyright Cthulhu came for us, and what this person actually ended up doing. So what you can do if you receive a DMCA claim that you believe is false,
Yeah.
you can submit a counter DMCA note, and the original person that sent the original form has to respond within 10 days. If they don't, then everything's dropped. Everything goes back to normal. All of your posts that got deleted can be
Come back.
can come back, and you won't be liable for any of it. So, but there's that 10-day period where you just have to wait and see, and within that 10-day period, they may take you to court. And you just kind of, by doing that, by submitting a counterclaim, you have to be ready to go to court.
Yeah. Yeah.
It might happen. It usually doesn't, but it might.
Yeah.
So we did the counter. And
after like talking to the lawyers, was like, and be like, are we sure?
And
Are we sure?
This Cthulhu, he. I guess I said too much. It's a
They.
he emailed us privately, looked our employees up on LinkedIn, and did all kinds of shit within those 10 days instead of taking us to court, which only proved that
There wasn't a lot of claim behind that.
yes,
PMCA.
exactly. And so the claim was dropped. We're in the clear. All of our other peers and friends are also in the clear.
That doesn't mean it can't come back now that we have
It does
said
not.
things.
Yes.
Like,
No names were used. I don't want to use names because this person is also known for taking people to court for defamation.
yeah.
So we're not going to deal with that.
Yeah.
But general guidelines, we believe that we're not doing anything wrong with our channel, and giving other creators advice on how they can combat predatory behavior like this.
Yeah. I think the sad thing about that is like we were able to get a lot of help from the community and vice versa. Like we were able to discuss with our peers, finding out that they were also getting the same kind of claims. I think the worst part is that it always affects smaller channels.
Yes.
So we thankfully we had a website, we had backups on stuff. So obviously the videos were taken down for 10 days. And if you were taken on a court, we were prepared for it. But for the smaller channels who may not have a backup with their content, it gets taken away from 10 days. It's difficult to kind of show that content. So you at those 10 days you don't have any content. And then if they are taken to court, may not have that much support. So it is scary. I can totally, like, if we had gotten this claim 7 years ago, we would have been terrified. 6 years or 5 years ago, we would have been terrified. And I think from all the small strikes that we've gotten over the years, we were able to like prep ourselves. We don't consider ourselves a huge channel, so it was still a scary thing, but it just, this kind of predatory behavior always impacts a smaller channel.
And so that goes into another advice that I would have for creators, and that's to have a contingency plan. Because
Always.
at some point, no matter how clean you make your content, someone's not gonna like it, someone's gonna do something about it, and you're gonna have to be prepared. So that, whether that means having a secondary channel or posting your content on multiple different platforms, having a migration plan for your viewers for whenever one of your channels gets erased from existence. So have a distribution plan for your content.
I think that goes with everything. Like, always have a contingency plan, and in the end of the day, like, I know YouTube is a big platform, but anything can happen. Patreon is a big platform, anything can happen. So just always be prepared that your livelihood on one place could go away because you are relying on other people, right? Like, we are relying on YouTube that they will continue behaving, but tomorrow it could just go away. So then we'll just have to be like, where do we go from here? Like, just always have a backup. Just in life, always have some kind of backup.
Another advice that I have written down is educate yourself on your options. And I would also encourage everyone to talk to a lawyer, preferably not during a crisis.
Beforehand.
try to make time for this. And you can have free consultation from any lawyer. I would say if this is something you're serious about and you want to pursue this as a career, I would pay for this because you want to have a peace of mind for yourself. Don't rely on us. We are not giving you legal advice. We are just sharing our experience.
And every state is different. And in the very beginning, what Kelly said, like, so these are very vague guidelines and anybody can perceive and interpret it very differently. That's why, like, if it ever goes to a court, the judge will have to tell us how they read it. Same with the Constitution. A constitution can be read very differently depending on who the judge is. So
isn't that great?
It's amazing. So you kind of have to just be like, okay, what I am doing is this way I believe is not illegal. and you just have to be careful. So like if your content is showing the full on footage, well then you're on your own kind of thing.
Exactly.
So like,
Exactly.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that it can't be illegal. It can be just be like, talk to a lawyer,
Yeah.
do a free consultation. Any lawyer would do a free consultation and just be like, okay, yeah, this is how.
Yeah.
And the lawyer might say, I think our lawyers were like, because it's so vague that even the lawyer can write something down, but he can like look at your content and be like, yeah, I think what you're doing, it's here, but I'm not telling you this way. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's something.
And this is a great segue into the last advice that we want to share, and that is to stay true to your values and principle. If you are knowingly breaking a law or guidelines or terms of service, you have to be okay with the consequences. So if you're a creator that just posts everything like uncut, unedited, full footage of something that you don't own, you are breaking the law.
Yeah. And that's that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's the truth. And you may receive a consequence for that.
Yep.
I don't
One
know.
day or later,
Yeah.
it may come. And I think that also, it comes down to also like overall reaction reaction genre is so big and so vague. Nico, stop it. So just be a good person. So like, because if you are showing full on footage, it looks bad upon the whole genre. And then if, let's say, God forbid, like you are the one who's showing the full footage, you are the one who's been taken to a court and judge makes a ruling because of your content, then it applies to everybody in that genre.
That would be unfortunate.
That would be unfortunate. So then we can't really be like, oh, we are not doing that. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just a vague umbrella of a reaction channel, and we know how media works.
Yeah.
So it's just also not only being careful, like what you're doing legally, also being careful by your peers.
Yeah.
Because we are relying on our peers, so let's be good to our peers.
Make sure the blanket that will spread those blanket statements is clean.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. But,
And
yeah.
and I guess also keep record of your policies, such as the ones we mentioned about the 10 minutes / 20 seconds, and also a trail of past interaction with copyright flags for a potential legal dispute, because it might happen at some point. We don't know.
So there's a really good question, Alpha Kenny Woon. How come I can use whole game footage but not on anime? And the reason why, and how I interpreted it, like with video game, the purpose of video game is like you to buy it to play it. If you're watching somebody play it, you're not really enjoying experiencing it. Like with anime, it's supposed to be watched. And if somebody shows it, then you're watching it.
And also, not all video games are allowed. Like, I know that sometimes, even like, especially Nintendo, I feel like it's a lot of takedowns on Twitch because they don't want their games to be streamed, and they just don't see how it's beneficial to them at all, which is weird. But there's multiple. It depends on who the studio is,
That's
I
true.
guess,
Yeah.
and how they see Twitch, whether they see it as a useful marketing tool or just someone that's just broadcasting their thing for free.
Yeah. It's interesting. Rajohit is correct. Music in video game is still a bit of dispute. Yeah. So if there's let's say there's a music in a video game that's really popular, like Rolling Stone or like Queens or any kind of music, that will get dinged because that's a whole different thing. So you gotta be careful lowering it. But yeah, the way I see it, like with gaming, the reason why it should again be used as a marketing tool, why like Call of Duty and Halo, Fortnite became big because people were playing it, people were watching other people play it, so they wanted to play it. But with anime, it's like if I can watch the game while you play, I don't need to buy the game. I'm done, kind of thing. Johnny Blue. Meanwhile, there are parts of YouTube with whole shows and movies uploaded for decades, and it will still there uncopyrighted. So it's definitely lopsided justice. It is. It really is.
But yeah, I mean, I think that I feel like these are the stages of growth for a YouTube channel, right? Like you start with low numbers and you can pretty much do whatever,
anything,
like because nobody is paying attention to you.
Yeah.
But then like once you start growing, like you need to get a little more like, in your lane, you need to figure out what you're actually doing. And then like you will be under a lot of scrutiny, and like if you fuck up, you are at like a high risk, like if you're around like 50K, 100K, 250 even, like you're still a small channel. Even I think we are still a small channel, but like below 1 million, like there's a lot of like
gray area,
and like you can just get you can get terminated. You won't, and like it will just happen like this.
Yeah,
I feel like once you pass 1 million, you are at the territory again where you can do whatever the fuck you want. And YouTube will not do anything because they want your views and and the attention you bring. So.
Yeah, advertisement. So it really is like you're in the middle. It's like a whole world, right? Like middle economy, like a socioeconomic middle class is usually the one who gets messed up. So like when you're in a middle class, like wherever you are, like you have to be very careful. If you make a lot of money, a lot of subscribers, you can do whatever you want. And if you have a lot of low subscribers, you can do whatever you want. And even then, I think a lot of times it's also, I don't know. I really don't know. I think you get one, like Kitty said, then you just on radar, and I think the bots kind of just hover around you. It is a lot of time bots. So you just kind of have to think in a sense how a bot would be programmed to pick up the algorithm, and then once you appeal it, a person looks at it, but by the time it goes back, like you may have lost that monetization. Yeah, so it impacts,
And it sucks when, like, for reaction channels like ours, what really sucks is when, like, this happens in the middle of, like, a very popular season. Yeah. Like, if we're watching, like, Attack on Titan, like, season 3, and we, like, catch it with, like, while it's premiering, like, that's gonna be huge. We're gonna get, like, 500,000 views on a video. Yeah. That's our... While our AdSense is like not anything to boast about, when those things happen, it really kind of like spikes it up, and that's really good for us because that's like money we never accounted for or expect. It's like, and it's good to have that. And like while that's happening, you get a strike. Yeah, it's just like
it's the worst. It's the worst. Especially knowing the normies, like we very rarely on a hype train. So when we are like so proud of ourselves. And then strikes happens like, oh no.
Speaking of hype trains, I just watched the most traumatizing, saddest episode of Oshinoko.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, is it worth watching?
I think it's really good.
Yeah.
But it's like not, like, it's not a shonen. Like, it is just like a completely different ballpark.
Do I need to sit down and watch it, or can I like background watch it?
I don't think it's in English.
Oh, then I need to sit down and watch it. And then I will never watch it. It's gonna take so long.
But it's good. I like it because it's like very much like grounded in reality and like very, very relatable. It's like watching like a live action show. Oh, okay. But it's animated, you know? Like there's no like outside of like the reincarnation stuff. Yeah. There is no like supernatural stuff or power-ups or anything like that.
Interesting. Yeah. But no, that's exciting. Yeah. But yeah, I hope you guys like I don't know, found the discussion beneficial. If you don't have a YouTube channel yourself, you may have learned like why we've been doing some things differently. But we are back full up on Twitch. Just a little bit different content. Podcasts are still gonna be there. Gaming is still gonna be there. One Piece read along still gonna be there. Yes. We'll just hold off on doing any reactions on Twitch.
For
now. But we will try to continue building up our Twitch, building up our YouTube, so I think it's a lot of trial and errors. We'll experiment with things. If it works, that's where we love your guys' feedback. We love to know what's working really good for you and what's not, so we can just kind of like, okay, scrap this, let's move on. But yeah.
And last question from Raj Rohit. Have you guys got permission from the owners if you have asked them to react to certain stuff? If yes, how long does that take? So funnily enough, I don't think we reached out, but we got permission from... Well, I think that Rooster Teeth just gave a blanket permission to creators to react to Ruby. So that's like the one show we kind of shared in an uncut format on YouTube because Rooster Teeth was okay with it. So that never happened to us before and after. Yeah.
And I think we have very high level reached out to few studios or channels, I guess, like HBO and stuff like that. we need to dig deeper, actually like find more like people who it's not just a blanket email like contact at HBO, but more like this person. Will they give us permission? I don't believe so. Like even if they give us a permission, bots are completely different than like that person. So like it's not a person who is really dinging a video, right? There's a bots on Twitch and YouTube, and you have to have a bots because it's such a big platform. Otherwise, like you cannot. So much content gets uploaded on all the platforms all the time, every second. A person cannot look at it. I think it's just unfair to say the person will look at it. It's going to be bots. And I think it just needs to be built a little bit differently. But end of the day, we can get a permission, but they're not the one dinging at videos. So
and it did happen also that our Ruby reactions were like temporarily blocked because while we got permission, the permission wasn't like in the system.
Yeah.
So
but Ruby, I believe it was for all the reaction channels. It was kind of like well known that we can just do it, and I think we found out because other YouTube channels were doing it, and then we reached out to the other YouTube channels. So that's the most up here community. We will reach out to other YouTube channels, other creators who might be doing this. Like, how is this working for you?
But we also had interactions with people that helped create the show, like the voice actors. So
they came to PopCon, so we met them, so it's really nice. But
is it possible to hire an AI editor? Oh God,
I don't know. That's gonna be interesting. But I don't know.
I don't think so. Anyway, I think this concludes our discussion about copyright. I hope you enjoyed this podcast.
Next week, we are going to have a guest.
We are.
She's facing fear with Sarah. We will go through her personal story. So it's going to be interesting. We'd love to hear you guys about like how you guys feel about us bringing guests on a channel. Do you guys enjoy it? We try to bring different guests locally just to have a different kind of conversation, get to know people. I think we've been enjoying doing it. So we'd love to hear if you guys enjoy doing it as well. But next week we'll have Sarah, and the following week we will have Victoria, who does a photo shoots, and she is a very lively person, and we'll be super excited.
I love Victoria.
Yeah, she'll be great. So we'll do that. Different Sarah, not Star Wars Sarah, a different one. And who are we rating?
And Anime is getting a raid from us. Tell them Normies send their regards.
Yes.
And we'll see you again.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Get ready, because it's about time for you to speak your mind.
Yeah.
Stealing the spotlight.
Everybody's like, where is she? It's like outside. Turns out I was like, I see it. And so I was like, oh, see it. Got some short of her face. And then goes back.
Club.
You are stealing